الحمد لله رب العالمين، الحمد لله ذي الملك والملكوت ذي العزة والجبروت. الحمد لله حي قيوم لا ينام، عزيز لا يضام، قهار لا يرام. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدًا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما. يقول الباري سبحانه وتعالى بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم: يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. O you who believe, fear Allah as He should be feared, and die not except on the state of Islam. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the most merciful, grant us this great gift to die on the state of Islam. Allahumma ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. Amma ba'd. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-Hajj, بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم: أفلم يسيروا في الأرض فتكون لهم قلوب يعقلون بها أو آذان يسمعون بها فإنها لا تعمى الأبصار ولكن تعمى القلوب التي في الصدور. In this ayah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala inviting us and invite the humankind to reflect and to travel in the land, to check and to see the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And in a way, to travel in the land, to ponder, to reflect, to think, and to find the answer. And these answers lead someone to the oneness of Allah, lead someone to the reality and the truth of this existence. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, أَفَلَمْ يَسِيرُوا, did they not or should they not travel in the land to see all of that? Then the question here that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned, which is very important for us, He said, فَتَكُونَ لَهُمْ قُلُوبٌ يَعْقِلُونَ بِهَا, that they have hearts with which they conceive. And this is very important for us, or adhanun, or ears with which they hear. And then, why the people then they're not reflecting and thinking? Why the people they're not coming to the path to understand that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created them for the truth? So there is something here that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He wants us to reflect on, and for the believer to have it as objective to protect and to safeguard. فيقول Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this ayah, He said, this heart, Allah created them to conceive, to think. Therefore, the heart that we have is really have the relation, or they are the substance for us in our system, that organ to help us to see the light of Allah. Without it, we cannot see that. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, if they don't see the light, then these hearts are dead. These hearts are blind. That's why He said, it's not that the eyes, they go blind, because the eyes and the ears are channel, are tools. But the one who directs the light to see is the heart. If the light is not getting to the heart, therefore someone cannot see it. And here very important for us, because the believers, his way of thinking is really what is the most important, because his way of thinking will define for him the understanding of the whole creation around him. That's what it helps him to be on the path of Allah, to see the light of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Therefore, if this heart is blind, someone he is diverted, someone he is off the path. And here the believer comes as an objective. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for us. If you take something and you focus on it, everything will come together. If you take the akhirah and you work for the akhirah, your rizq come together, your family come together, everyone will be holding or heading in one path. Today, I would like to share with you something that is very important in this. What if we put our objective is your heart? It's like something so great, and it is great for us. It is your life. And you want to protect it. You want to keep it as a pearl. And you want to be heaven protected and safe. As one of the Salihin we mentioned before, he said one of the secrets of his way to be observed piety, that he stood against or stood by the gate of his heart for 40 years, standing, not let anything enter inside, except what pleases Allah, what is permissible, that will not rotten and corrupt his heart. Therefore, all of us, alhamdulillah, we are believers, intending to have that heart that is alive to help us have the right way of thinking, to conceive the existence as the way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created it, to conceive the purpose of life as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to do. Therefore, we have a principle. And this principle that we know that the Prophet ﷺ said, there's a piece of flesh in this system, in the body. If it goes good, everything goes good. If it goes wrong, everything goes wrong. And it is the heart. Therefore, I believe that every one of us here have this purpose. It's not that to have a pure, cleansed heart, it takes a long time, but we have that intention. Yes, alhamdulillah. So we are in that field of the purification. We want to be purified. If we are here together, we want that. Now, the thing is that I want to share with you today, there's elements that corrupt the heart in the back scene. That's what I want to share with you. Because if someone will commit bad thing, he run away, he run like he want to make istighfar. So he erased that part of the darkness that's stuck in his heart. But things that we don't know, we cannot see. And I want to share with you 5 elements that corrupt the heart comes in the back scene. Another scholar, mainly Ibn al-Qayyim, rahimahullah, he put them into these 5 points. And if we share together these 5 points, and we want together to put these 5 points, like in our system, in our plan, to protect our heart. Our heart is protected by our piety, by our doing good, but we know if you have, sins, we make istighfar, but there are things around in the back system that we want to be aware of. So the scholar, they're saying the first one is al-mukhalata. I want you to count with me. The first one is al-mukhalata. Al-mukhalata is the fellowship, is the companionship, is the friendship. You might be with people that are corrupting your heart without you knowing. You have a strong relation. You love these people. You sit with them. And when you sit with your friends, usually your shields are not up. So you submit. You are very friendly, very kind. And the scholar, they're saying, subhanAllah, there is something important in the friendship. That the friendship, the mood of your friend, the way he talk, the way they do, it's produced like kind of smoke, kind of mood, kind of vibes. That vibes, it comes to cover the heart. So if this person is not good, that smoke is black and is like dark and it's covered the heart. And then someone will be moody like his friend. That's why the Prophet ﷺ قال المرء على دين أخيه. The man or the person, he's following the way of his friend. فلينظر أحدكم من يخالل. So let's have everyone look who's the one that he's befriending, who's the one that he's walking with, who's the one that he let to enter his heart, because he's going to be following him. And we have today, for example, for our youth and for all of us, we have that peer pressure, especially for the youth. So it becomes like, how can they become or match the standard of their friends? How they can fulfill the request of their friends? How they can be, having the same wants of their friends? And it becomes, I don't want to be seen bad. I want not to be seen inferior. I don't want to be mocked. Therefore, all of that, it becomes, subhanAllah, direct the heart to such a thing that will be fully diverted. And the scholars, they say, when then is Allah? When is your akhirah if your heart is being diverted in such a thing? So one of the scholars, they're saying, rahimahumullah, or the scholar, they're saying, قال من صاحب خيرا نال من بركته. If you sit with someone good, with someone pious, you're going to get from his blessing. And that's why they say, قالوا جليس أولياء الله لا يشقى أبدا. The one who sit with the people of piety, he will never be disgraced. He's going to be honored. And look, subhanAllah, said, even if it's the one he's sitting with them is a dog he will be honored. So the scholar is saying, why they mention the dog in a situation like this? We're talking about friends. Yes, it is a friend. He is a friend. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to show us. Like the groupment, the gathering of good, He has a blessing even on animals. And the scholar, they mention the particular example of the dog because we have in the story of the people of the cave, their friend was a dog. قَالَ وَكَلْبُهُمْ بَاسِطٌ ذِرَاعَيْهِ بِالْوَسِيدِ. He was being honored because of their gathering, because of the group of the Salihin. Therefore, we're saying, this is a way for us to protect our heart. You have a heart that you want to protect. You want to keep it cleansed. Something in the system, even the one that you talk to, he's going to have effect on your heart. He's going to have effect on your way of thinking. It's going to have effect on your mood, on your vibe. That is going to corrupt something into your system. That's why someone needs to be careful. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran, for such a thing, قال الأخلاء بعضهم يومئذ لبعض عدو. This is a fact. The friends, they gather because of interest, because of other things that they love in the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They're going to be in the day of judgment enemy, except the muttaqun. The muttaqun, why? Because they have one same purpose, one same objective, is to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And he said Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in an ayah that should concern all of us, because you know, the believer, he's kind, and the believer, he's like smooth and peaceful, and he's ambassador of the good. That's why we need to put like some dawabit, restriction, to help ourselves to not fall into deviation without our knowing. We're not blaming anyone that you are talking to. We're talking about how you protect yourself. You protect this piece of flesh that is your life, as the Prophet ﷺ saying. So he said, يَوْمَ يَعَضُّ الظَّالِمُ عَلَى يَدَيْهِ. In the day of judgment, to transgressor, that he transgressed himself. He knew the Prophet. He loved the Prophet. But because of the friend that he had, because of the pressure of he has, because of the way that he wants to please them, to be matching their standards, he left away, kind of gradually diverted away from the path of Allah. So in the day of judgment, he will be biting on his hands. يوم يعض الظالم على يديه يقول يا ليتني اتخذت مع الرسول سبيلا, saying, I wish I took. Woe to me, I wish I took the path of the Prophet ﷺ. يا ويلتى ليتني لم أتخذ فلان خليلا. Woe to me today. I wish I didn't take that person as a friend. So the person as a friend is not him to blame. It's the person who didn't, that he followed him and he let his heart go to be in his mood and he's to be in his way, that he corrupted himself. Therefore, as a conclusion for this first point, should someone make himself, just isolate himself from the whole society to protect himself? That's not the solution, and that's not the way of Islam. I mean, we are ambassador of good, ambassador of kindness, and ambassador of peace. But we need to be protecting of ourselves. You come to think based on the need of that friendship. If as a co-worker, you be nice with him in the level of the relationship that you have. You present what you have. But when you hear something that is wrong, you don't listen to it. When there is violation of the way of Allah, you don't sit next to them. If you have good wisdom to share, you have, and you have good influence, you'll do it. But in the level, always be mindful of your heart. Be watchful of your heart. That is most important. You don't want anything that come to have an effect on you as a mood, to divert you from the path of Allah, or to divert you from, like, just have some corruption, is going to gradually, subhanallah, turn away to what we said in Surah Al-Furqan, someone biting on his hand. So we don't seclude ourselves from the society, but we'll be integrated, show our skills, show our excellence, but in the level always to be mindful. Your heart is like your heart. He said, please don't rotten me, please don't corrupt me, so you will be watchful. And that we're going to be a great example with the mutual respect that we always have as a Muslim. It is in our behavior, in our conduct. And then you make for yourself at least few times a day, or few times a week, that to sit with the good people. You come to the masjid, like mashallah in the Jumu'ah. In the Jumu'ah you feel the vibe of the people standing together for the sake of Allah. You come to a circle of knowledge, because when you come, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, أُولَٰئِكَ لَا يَشْقَ مَعَهُمْ جَلِيسُهُمْ. When you come, even you don't even listen to the knowledge, or you listen to the study, you have someone you want to sit next to. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala witnessed the angel that he forgave them all. They said, yeah Allah, there's someone he didn't come for that. He said, أُولَٰئِكَ لَا يَشْقَ معهم جليس. Those, they're part of people who listen, be with them, they will not be disgraced, they will not be neglected. So if we have in this back system, thinking of this friendship, fellowship, how it has an important impact on our heart, that is going to change a lot of things in our life. The second one, it is, as the scholar they say, قال أن يركب بحر التمني, ركوب بحر التمني. What's the meaning of this thing? Someone, he embarked himself in the sea of wishes, of dreams. And the society of today is about all dreams. Talking about the dreams to have dream is to achieve, and all of that. So subhanAllah, they're saying, the scholar here, someone will make for himself an image and he want to be that thing. He really tastes the sweetness of being that person that he wants. He really tastes the sweetness of what you're going to have in the future in this world of illusion. The problem, when he opens his eyes, when he wake up from his dream, he's still on his bed holding the bed. He doesn't have anything. So the problem here, that corrupt the heart. It does corrupt the heart. Dream is an illusion, and dream is in a way that he wants to be that he cannot, or like cannot now because he don't have it. That is a problem that corrupt the heart. The Prophet ﷺ gave us the distinction and the difference between two personality. A personality that is kayyisun, clever, and a personality that is incapable, loser. The one who is clever, he knows his commitment. He knows what he has to do. He knows that he can afford this. He knows that he has to do this as right. So قال الكيس من دان نفسه, and he knows the purpose of his life because his heart clean. He has a purpose of life. قال ويعمل لما بعد الموت, and he works for what after the death. But العاجز, what the عاجز, the incapable, the loser one, قال من أتبع نفسه هواها, he make himself being followed by his desire. So he's always dreaming. And we have like this new fashion, people like daydreaming, spacing out. This is corrupt the heart. So if we let ourselves go within this pressure, it's really corrupting our heart. وَيَتَمَنَّ عَلَى اللَّهِ التَّمَنِّي, he said, Allah will forgive me. Allah is the most merciful. So we make an excuse to fall into the world of the dreams and dreaming and spacing out and daydreaming. And you know what it leads? It leads to make valid the intoxicant. Because drugs help the words of dreams. And that's why we have among us many Muslims who are addicted to drugs. And this is a reality that we need to face. We should not hide things that are Muslim great. No, we have a lot of shortcomings and that we need to face them. So this is indirectly corrupt the hearts. And the Prophet ﷺ told us the people are type 4 category. The first one, that being Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala provided him knowledge, the knowledge of the faith, the knowledge of the thinking, the knowledge of what he knows what to do for his life, and rizq, a lot of money. قال فيتق الله فيه فاتق الله في ماله, fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in his wealth. قال فيصل به رحمه, and he used this wealth to help his kin, his relatives, the people. قال ويعلم لله فيه حقا, and he knows the right of Allah in his money. He pays zakat and sadaqah. He said this is the best of the people. There is another one that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gifted him knowledge and he doesn't have wealth. He's poor. He's poor. But he said, if Allah give me money, I will do the same thing that person doing. I will do sadaqah, I will help my kin, I do all this. So the Prophet ﷺ said his intention is truthful. Allah will give him the same reward as the first person. Now the second one or the third one, that he has a lot of money but he doesn't have the knowledge. The knowledge here, he doesn't know Allah. He doesn't know fulfill the way of Allah. So قال فتخبط في مال. He does everything wrong. He will fulfill his desire. He will do whatever he want to do, not observing the law of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He said this is the worst of the people. Now we have the fourth one, who is poor and he doesn't have knowledge, laying on a bed, watching a show, and he wishing to be like this person. He wishing if he had that money, he will do more than that person. If that person, he's doing this fahisha, he will do the double of it because he had the capability to do more if he has money. Guess what? And the Prophet ﷺ said, قَالَ فَهُمْ فِي الْوِزْرِ سَوَاء. They have the same sins. The same sins. He's laying down on his bed and wishing and dreaming. He have the same sin that the one actor that he watching, that he want to have the same good looking that this person has and the same fahisha that he's doing. And this is corrupt our heart. We don't see it. That's why we want to share it. So sometimes someone think about these things. That dream that you let it go is not going to help. That's why you say this is the tamanni. The third one, this is the second one, I'm going to fast inshallah. The third one, in the scholar they say, is to rely on other than Allah. And this is very subtle because we rely on Allah, we trust in Allah. But when we have a problem, the first thing we call is the people that we believe that's going to help us. When we think of something to be so great, we think the people that they have like great position in politics or great position because they have money, we think about those. When we talk about relatives who have like people, they call them great, you feel like, very important person. So when you have some belonging, when someone is riding a new beautiful car, which is not haram, of course, to have, but if he finds his happiness, his strength, his dignity, his pride from that thing, he's relying the other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this corrupts our heart without us knowing. Without us knowing, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, they find their strength, their dignity, their pride from other than Allah. Guess what? That thing is going to be their first enemy in the day of judgment. And when someone does such a thing, he's like diverting away from Allah and he letting the shayateen enter. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, قال, أَلَمْ تَرَ أَنَّ أَرْسَلْنَا الشَّيَاطِينَ عَلَى الْكَافِرِينَ تَأُزُّهُمْ أَزًّا. The shayateen will be inciting them to do bad. Why? Because you have opened for them the gate. And this is the third one that corrupts our heart. The fourth one is something that all of us, we have. The food. The food has a relation with our heart. The food comes in two ways. A way, the food that either the food itself is haram or the way you get it is haram. Guess what? Everything grows. Every piece of flesh grows from haram food is going to hellfire. قال ما نبت لحم من حرام فالنار أولى به. So if you think of this, if we have a piece of flesh going to hellfire, it's attacking our heart already. And then the Prophet ﷺ said to Sa'ad, he said, Ya Sa'ad, أطب مطعمك يستجب دعاك. Make your food to be pure. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept your dua. So if we observe the halal, not only for the halal, but for the sake of the heart, which is your life. Because if we don't do so, it's going to hurt. Because people, they steal and they don't care. People, they cheat and they don't care. People, they think with force and they think, is they right? And they don't care. Guess what? The reflection or the impact is directly on a heart that becomes dead. And the second way in the food, it is what someone, he eat. Like in the society, we have everything in abundance. Eat a lot. And eat a lot that he cannot even breathe. And that, subhanAllah, it has an impact on the heart. Why? Because someone becomes heavy, he cannot breathe, he's not have that nashat, that freshness to go pray, to do ibadah. And that's the Prophet ﷺ said. He said the worst thing that a container, the son of Adam will fill with will be the stomach. Therefore, this is a system of diet that you really should follow. And if you do such a thing, if you believe that the Prophet ﷺ, he said, few bites is enough to keep the backbone of human being strong, we believe in it. If you cannot, he said, the Prophet ﷺ said, make third for your food, third for your drink, and third for your breathing. And this is, subhanAllah, how someone will have protecting his heart. So if you think today of your heart, you get onto a very great program of diet, but diet, this is from the Sunnah, it is going to be healthy diet. Why? Because it's going to have a great impact on your heart. The fifth one that I finish with is sleeping. A lot of sleeping, excessive sleeping, inherit laziness, inherit heedlessness, inherit the death of the heart. And the Prophet ﷺ said, the blessing of my ummah in their bakur, in their early starting, the Quran that being witnessed, your recitation that being witnessed by the angel is the one in the Fajr, not in the Isha or Maghrib or Asr. Why? Because that blessing of starting the day, that what is give you that power, strength, and nourish your heart. If we ignore that, we're ignoring ourselves. These are 5 elements that corrupt our hearts in the back scene. Inshallah, if we focus today and have our heart the target to be protected, to be safeguarded, remember companionship. The second one, remember the world of the dream is an illusion. It's not ours. Be someone who's committed that you live your reality and you fulfill your rights and commitment. The third one is, as we said, to rely on other than Allah, even the bit. Think of Allah that He's going to help you and then call. Not call and then yes, said, yeah, Allah. It's very simple. And that will heal also your heart. The fourth thing is the food. Excessiveness in food kills the heart. Haram food kills the soul. And the fifth thing is the sleep. Sleep when you need, but don't make an excessive sleep that is going yet to kill our heart. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to keep our heart alive and to cleanse our heart and make us to be in His path. And Allah grant us His rahmah and His blessing. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه الغفور الرحيم. بسم الله وكفى والصلاة والسلام على النبي المصطفى أما بعد. Dear brother and respected sister, the heart, if we speak about the heart to the end of our life, is not going to be enough. And remember, the only thing that Allah look at in our whole system is our heart. He doesn't look at our attire, He doesn't look at our appearance, He looks at our heart. And if we take today this great thing that we have, this gift, and think about this element that is in the back scene, we need to recheck our friendship, our companionship, our fellowship. Do I have the right to dream this? Maybe He's not helping me. Do I have the right to do this? Just think of yourself. Let's be smart and clever and kind to ourselves. That's how we can be kind to others. That's how we can be fair to others. Is there any sign to help us? Yes. Because this heart, when he sees the light of Allah, is going to have an effect. What is this effect? The Prophet ﷺ said, first you feel like expanded, you feel joyful. They said, Ya Rasulullah, if there's any sign, قال نعم. قال الإنابة إلى دار الخلود. You thinking every day about the akhirah. You want to make it. You dream about al-Firdaus al-A'la. That's a valid, great dream. You're dreaming about the next worship, about your next umrah, about your next gathering with your family, about your next gathering with your brother, about your next, knowledge that you're going to have, by your next good thing, food that you're going to have that is halal. It's all of that, subhanAllah. It is. So, al-inabatu ila darul khulud, that you think of the akhirah every day. Wal-jafa'u min darul ghurur, and you feel not attached to the dunya. You use what is halal. This is Allah created for you. But you not hag it and get it into your heart and you don't want to let it go. If it does go, Allah will give you better. And Allah is preparing you better, inshaAllah, in the akhirah. And the last one, this is the third condition or less, the third sign, that you prepare yourself to die. Death is coming. So you prepare for it. That's why Al-Hasan al-Basri, and I finish with this, they told him what is the secret of your joy, happiness, and not being attached to the akhirah. He said 4 things, and we wish we'll all together implement them. قال علمت أن عملي لا يعمله غيري فاشتغلت به. I know I have task, I have commitment, I have the rights to fulfill. Nobody gonna do them. Nobody gonna pray Salat al-Fajr for me. Nobody gonna take care of my family. Nobody gonna do my work. Nobody. So I have to be busy with it. I fulfill it. قال وعلمت أن رزقي لا يذهب إلى غيري فاطمأن قلبي. And I'm sure, I'm certain that my provision is not going to be taken by someone else or not going to be traveled to anyone else. Allah prescribed it to me, is going to come to me. So I feel comfortable and I feel tranquility because of that. The third one, he said, علمت أن الله مطلع علي فاستحييت منه. I know that Allah is watching me. There's 2 types of watching. Watching over you and watching you. We always love watching over you because He's taking care of you. But He's also watching you in your secluded place, what you are doing. So be shy from Allah. That's what He said. I know that Allah is watching me, that I'm be ashamed from Allah. The 4th thing and the last one, He said, I know that death is waiting for me. So I'm preparing the right provision for it. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us be on the right path and cleanse our heart and purify our soul and shower us, all of us, with His blessing and make, inshaAllah ta'ala, to grant us in very, very, inshaAllah, near future a home for this place. Reminding you, inshaAllah, that we'll be praying next week across the street in the other side. The flyer are here and we talk about it more about after the halaqah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive us all. Allahumma atina fi dunya hasana wa fil akhirati hasana wa qina adhab an-nar. Allahumma arina al-haqqa haqqan warzuqna ittiba'ah wa arina al-batila batilan wa waffaqna lijtinabah. Wa akhiru da'wana anil hamdulillahi rabbil alamin wa aqimus salata yarhamukumullah.